Battles are a math rock, indie rock band. They broke out in the 2000s. That was definitely their peak, their era, where they were really, really huge amongst indie kids and indie critics. They had a really cool and unique sound for the time. Over time, though, they haven't really kept up that same sound style that made them what they were to begin with. Glossdrop was cool. It was definitely an alright album, I guess. Not really an album I go back to anymore. Mirrored isn't really an album I go back to that much either, but you know, since then they've kind of been on a bit of a slump anyway, with their last album in 2015, I think it was, which just did not stick the landing at all for the fans of the band, and even just like general audiences. Unfortunately for Battles, Used to Be Crypts isn't going to be the comeback I think they were at least hoping for, and maybe even fans were hoping for, because audiences haven't really responded to this one in a particularly positive way. I can definitely see why, but generally this album kind of just falls short of excitement, I think. There are some cool features scattered throughout the album, but generally they're not really utilised in their best possible way. And as fun and as bubbly and as cartoonish as the first few tracks are, I'm not really left hype about them. Like, I'm not really wanting to go back to them constantly, and even by the time the album's over, even as I do like some of the moments, I'm just kind of left not really thinking about it. Perhaps it's just me and my own personal preference or something, but even like the best tracks on this album, I kind of just forget about once they're done. Titanium Two Step is one of the exceptions to that rule though, because it just sounds like classic Battles. What a great track this one is. The drumming here is propulsive. It's the best drumming we hear across the entire album. Generally just classic Battles. This was what they were doing on their debut, which got them so popular in the first place, so of course it's coming through here and sounding as good as ever. And Xenia Rubinos comes through with a really yelpy and over-the-top feature, which I do quite like, only reminded me of the fact that we still haven't got any new music from her, and it's been a few years now. I'm definitely wanting more music from her. Please come back. But the other features on this thing, not so good, are they, really? Tune yards, I don't know what happened to tune yards, but these days they're just not on the ball. Even as positive as I was on the last album, and most people were pretty negative towards it, I guess even in hindsight I was probably a bit too lenient towards it, because there wasn't really that much going on there that they hadn't already done. And even here, with a different instrumental palette to what they usually go for, they still don't really sound like they're fitting the track very well. Shabazz Palaces as well, that feature feels completely out of their element. Not a bad song by any means, but yeah, you know, just a combination of two sounds that probably could have not really existed. Not to say that they shouldn't have done it, but just hearing it, it wasn't like two worlds colliding where you think, oh wow, this is what we wanted, this is what we needed, this is something that works so well, because it just wasn't. Some of these collisions on this album and these worlds coming together from different genres and styles are like the complete opposite of what a band like Gang Gang Dance have been able to do in the past. The way they brought Tinchy Stryder on a song and somehow made it work incredibly well is something Battles just aren't able to do on this one. Sugarfoot is just very annoying to me. I think the feature on this one as well, the vocals are just so grating and just frustrating to listen to. I don't know what it is about the song, but it just all sounds gross. Like, nothing works for me on this song, whether it's the really, really falsetto induced vocals, or it's just the instrumental that's just really goofy and in your face. That's just the best way to sum up this album, actually. Goofy and in your face. Like, some of these tracks are just so pounding to try and gain your attention, but you're just not interested, and you just kind of let it go by, and then you're just like, yeah. It's fun in some aspects, it definitely is. I could easily see people really liking this, actually, just for the fact that you can just have a bit of a fun time with it, but it is just too gooey for me to really enjoy. So yeah, I'm gonna go 5 out of 10, unfortunately. This is essentially another case of like a 2000s band really not living up to what they were able to do in the 2000s, and coming into the next decade really slumping hard. I suppose I don't really need to name any examples. You know which bands I'm referring to here. It'll probably happen in the 2020s as well, actually. The 2010s artists that were like really at the peak of their career will probably start to slump in a sad way, and yeah, it's a shame. Let me know what you think of this though. Thank you for watching my review. Do hope you have a good day. Goodbye, subscribe, bye.